All right, thanks for checking out this episode of our podcast. This is the Thunder Underground podcast. My name is Trent, and as usual, I am here with Jason. What is up?
Not much. What do you know?
I know that we've got a pretty good podcast here for you today with Steve Murdock.
Yeah, I think we do. Another good one. We've interviewed some pretty awesome people, and this is just some fun stuff. So this is no different.
Right. Yeah, I think when we started this, our idea was to, obviously we cover hard rock and heavy metal. Obviously that lends to the bands, the musicians.
Yes.
And talk about bands and musicians.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, with this, we early on decided we want to start trying to get behind the scenes stuff. People who work in all different facets of the the music.
Definitely, because when you've got every band was a local band,
right?
And so it's good to kind of go back, to this, and it's a crucial level in a band's career. And so it's good to talk to these bands and talk to these, the guys that are behind the scenes that put on the shows and get their insight and their advice. So this is an important one, and I think it's a good one. Up and coming bands, should listen and take some advice. So, and this would be an episode to do it.
Yeah, Steve Murdock, he runs Murdock Productions, which is puts on concerts, concert promoter basically. Does a lot of stuff around town, around the area. So we get into all that stuff, and we get into, like Jason said, he gives gives some tips for some up and coming bands, talks about things that do's and don'ts, things that bug him. And of course we just get into some music talk in general.
It'll always go there,
right?
Because that's the common thread. We all love heavy metal. We all love hard rock. So we get into some great stuff about Zeppelin. Some great stuff about
Pantera.
It was just good stuff. It was a fun conversation for sure.
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with Steve and you are looking to get on a rock or metal show around here, just look him up on Facebook and send him a message. And like he says on this thing, just hit him up that way, find him at a show, whatever, and talk to him. And if you got music that he can hear, he'll see what he can do.
Definitely.
And in the meantime, you need to check out our previous podcast, because we talk about several bands in this one that we've already done podcasts with, like the guys from Severmind and Dryvr, and who am I forgetting?
Oh, there's some.
Obviously, we just did Steve Ray.
Yeah, there's some talk about that.
Right. Well, you can find all those on SoundCloud. You can also find them on our website, which is thethunderunderground.com. We've got Facebook, like we always say, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and a YouTube channel. And all those links are right there on the website. And the YouTube channel has a playlist that we put up for every episode. And of course, this episode will be included, which would be episode 15. Subscribe to us so you can check all that stuff out. And hopefully here in the future, we plan on having some videos up of random Thunder Underground shenanigans.
Of course.
Right. Because what would it be without shenanigans? And
it's all about shenanigans, right?
Yeah. And speaking of shenanigans, if you own a company named Shenanigans and you want to sponsor us, give us a call or send us a message, and we'll pimp out your shenanigans.
Yeah. I really fucking hate saying that word, but if they'll sponsor us, I'll do it.
Right.
Whatever.
Why not? All right. Well, we appreciate you listening, and we will see you. I don't want to say see you next time, because this thing's not even over yet, but we will see you soon.
Yes. See you very soon.
See? This doesn't happen very often, by the way. The whole phone turned off thing.
We are honored. We are honored.
Well, it ain't that. It's just it's just that thing. That thing just it does not shut up. So okay, what do we do? Do I tap into this?
Yeah. Is it on? Are we going?
Yeah.
We're recording?
Yeah. So how long you been doing Murdock Productions?
Murdock Productions has been going for almost 2 years now. Legally about a year, but a little bit, almost 3 years now as far as booking shows and setting things up around town for decent shows for bands to play on. I've been in the scene though longer than that. I go all the way back to the Windjammer,
Wow.
late '80s, early '90s. I've been around a long time, man. Like you guys just interviewed Steve Ray,
Right.
Dude, I've known him, golly, long time. Not on a personal level. I've known of him for 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
He's been around a long time. That guy's got street credit.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, I've been.
Did you work
Been doing it a
Windjammer?
while. Do what?
Did you work Windjammer? Or
Bounced at the Windjammer.
Okay.
Yeah, bounced. I didn't book any shows there. There I was 21 years old, wet behind the ears,
Right.
just enjoying getting paid to whip on people. That was awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
I think about the time we got 21 was about the time Windjammer was ending. Because,
Yeah.
all the shows we'd go to in the early 90s, people would talk about, go to the Windjammer after the show, but we were, 16, 18,
Yeah.
so we
Right.
never...
Well, it was 18 and over.
Was it?
It was 18 and over wet bar, and at that time, I'm pretty sure it was the only bar in town that was like that.
Really?
We had this rail that went around the bar, and if you were 21, you could stand inside the rail, but if you weren't, you had to be out here, and had 2 different hand stamps that we were looking at, because you could take your drinks outside the rail, and people were all the time, hooking their buddy up.
Yeah.
Here's a Long Island tea, and we take them away, take the drink away from them, kick them out, and all that jazz. But dude, I saw a lot of bands at the Windjammer.
I bet.
Warrant came to town one night. It was on a Halloween night.
Oh.
And when Janie Lane got done, when they got done, Janie said, "We're going to the Windjammer," and threw the mic down and walked off stage.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize that that he had done that.
Yeah.
Until 8,000 people showed up and wanted to get in the club that night, and we had a line all the way around the building, people trying to get in there. But
Did they show
at
up?
that time, it was
with Jenny Lane
yeah, they showed up. Yeah, they showed up. There was I can't remember the band that was playing that night. I want to say it was Edwin Dare, but I can't remember for sure. They were really good, and Janie jumped up on stage with them. They did a few songs together, and
Wow.
the place was just packed.
That's crazy.
You couldn't shoehorn another person in there that night. It was crazy. But that the scene was different then. You didn't have the damn cell phones and the internet and all that. I think internet was around, but nobody had it because it was just
Yeah.
you got to be Bill Gates to
Yeah,
get the internet.
yeah.
It was
Yeah,
expensive,
millionaire.
and
Right.
nobody had cell phones.
Yeah.
If they did, it was probably either a bag phone or the big gray brick.
Right.
Nobody had phone. A few people had pagers. So the communication wasn't like it is now. It wasn't an instant gratification thing like it is now.
Yeah.
We relied heavily on radio, radio advertisement,
Yeah.
but even that has changed. You got a lot of corporate radio stations now that they only allow certain songs to be played, and they have to meet a criteria.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
all the cowboy DJs, the hot rod DJs, they're pretty much all gone.
Yeah.
And I mean, there
Yeah.
may be a few of them around here and there, but as far as a DJ reaching over and pulling a song off of a stack and choosing what he
Yeah.
wants to play, that's done.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
unless
yeah.
it's a completely independent, like RSU radio out there. I think they do some stuff. Turbo, he was a disc jockey out there. He's at the Cat in Oklahoma City now, but he was the RSU DJ for a while. And they play a lot of underground local stuff, heavy stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
Right on.
but things are different now. I mean, it costs you an arm and a leg to get prime time
Oh, yeah.
radio advertisement nowadays, and then you got to sign into a contract, and it's just it's man, it's expensive, and thousands and thousands of dollars for a few months, month's worth of prime time. You're paying for it, and you're well paying for it.
Yeah, definitely.
But
But do you think it's something like that's really needed as much? Since a lot of people, I mean, radio listens has probably dropped in the last 20 years. So it's kind of in social media.
I think it could be a good thing if it's utilized correctly. Okay, obviously in town here, as far as the heavier rock stations go, KMOD's the go-to place. I think that it could still be useful. Okay, if somebody could afford it.
Right.
Okay. People rely heavily on social media. They rely heavily on the Facebook and the Twitter and the whatever other ones are out there. And it's very impersonal. It's very cold. Okay. People tend to, if they hear it on the radio, it's something. It's a thing. Okay. You can see anything on Facebook. You can see monkeys screwing. You can see, cats and concerts and just all this different stuff on there. But it's very impersonal. It's very cold. It's not. It's not. You're not face to face with somebody. So you have to target the market, and you have to just blast it out there if you're going to rely completely on Facebook, which nobody should be relying completely on Facebook. No band, no promoter, nobody. Okay? Because it is completely unreliable. You can set up an event page, and there'll be, 500 people say they're going to show up. You invited 3,000 people.
Yeah.
500 of them say they're going to show up. And then the night of the show, there'll be 50 people.
Yeah.
Okay? It's unreliable. Now, granted, a lot of people will say that they're going, and that's cool. And life happens. You couldn't get a babysitter, or your car's broke, or whatever reason that there is that you can't make it to the show. Unfortunately, you're not able to make it. You can roll that red carpet out there for the people to show up, and then it's on them. It's just a matter, because you can't force people to show up. Unfortunately, you can't force people.
It'd be nice if all the people that hit like on something, what that could turn into, because somebody will, they'll have 1,000 people like something, but they won't go buy the album or show up at the show or something.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it's I like what you're saying about you can't rely. You still got to get out there and be seen, and meet people, and all that stuff.
There's a band here in town, Grind. Dale Diver, CJ McClellan, JB, and Tim. They're a great band, but they went old school on this last show. That they just had their CD release show at the Shrine. I put it on, and they went over and they printed off 200 flyers, and they went around downtown, just old school guerrilla marketing. Stapling them to telephone poles.
Oh yeah.
And it worked out pretty. Got to say, I think it worked out pretty good. We had a bunch of people there at the show. They had a great show. Those guys are really good, really good.
Cool. Yeah, I've seen that name a lot lately.
Yeah.
Just hadn't seen them yet personally.
Oh yeah. They do a good job, man. They're all seasoned players. They're not 12, so they know how to handle themselves at a show. there's a lot of bands here in town that are real professional about how they carry themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with everything, there's some that aren't so professional. I'm not going to go naming any names or anything like that, but they know what to do and what not to do, and then some of them, they kind of, they want to know what to do and what not to do. They just never been in a situation to do it. There's it's just like everything, man. There's Cadillacs and there's Yugos.
That's right.
In everything. There's Cadillac refrigerators and there's Yugo refrigerators. And it goes with all bands. Everything in life.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions actually, is bands that do it right and do it wrong. I mean, what are some pet peeves or things you've seen from bands that just drive you nuts?
Time. Show up on time.
Okay.
If load in is at 5:00, be there at 5:00.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there are some exceptions. One of the guys in the band, he don't get off work till 8:00, but they don't play until 10:00. Okay, fine. We can work around that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to be flexible.
Yeah.
You can't be just Nazi promoter guy. No show for you. 2 years. You can't do that. You can't do that. But you got to you have to adapt. You got to. It's a very dynamic situation. Putting on a show. It's a dynamic situation at the show. Whether it's we're trying to get gear off the stage or getting the next band on and somebody drops a snare drum and now that's we can't use that one. We're gonna have to come up with another plan. It's always modify on the fly.
Yeah.
So show up on time, man. If you've got a 45-minute set, do 45 minutes. If when that 45 minutes is over and it's time to clear the stage to get the next band on, hurry up.
Yeah.
Don't we ain't got time right now to sit and chit chat with Buffy. Mm-hmm. Okay, we can talk to Buffy in about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Once we get you guys off and get the next band on, get ready to go.
Awesome.
Because I work, what I do with Murdock Productions is separate from what I do when I work with Axis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm on the Axis crew. But that's the extent of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I do work with Sunshine from Axis from time to time on different shows. I work her stage at Rocklahoma. We have a good working relationship. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to step on her toes. We communicate. Mm-hmm. I let her know if I've got a show that I'm putting on and I know that she's working on a heavy show too. I try to work around that. We don't want to. I don't want to have a heavy show going on and then have her have a heavy show going on the same night because we're just splitting the crowd.
Yeah. And
that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the bands. Doesn't help the venue. Doesn't help nothing. But the what I do from her is separate from her. But I try to pattern what I do off of what we do at Rocklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we had our set times, our in between set times, down to about 7-8 minutes between bands last year.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome.
But there's like 12 of us.
Yeah.
Okay, half of us are taking a band off, and the other half's bringing a band on at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but it's very fluid, and we all, everybody on the crew either is a musician, an active musician, or is involved in music somehow. Mm-hmm. So we know what to expect. We know what to look for, and that kind of thing. This goes here and this goes here, and that kind of thing. So at a local show, I try to do the same thing. About 15 minutes in between is it doesn't sound like a very long time, but it can be an eternity. Mm-hmm. If we're waiting and we're watching people go out the door because there's not a band playing there. Yeah. I've been out to some shows that I haven't put together or anything, just go to a show and there'll be 30, 45 minutes in between bands.
Yeah.
And that drives my ADD up the wall.
Yeah.
I cannot compute that. After about 10 minutes, I'm starting to get sketchy. I'm like, we need to come on. We need to hurry, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, and again, back to the bands, they know they try their hardest and they do a great job. And you know, there's times when I'm not sweating 15 minutes. I mean, if we got to go, if it turns into 20, okay, you know, kind of thing, you know. A lot of it depends on the sound guy too. Okay, because you know the sound guy's got to mic up the drums.
Yeah.
They've got to get all their levels for the monitors and all that right.
Yeah.
And sometimes that takes a minute. You know, depending on the drum kit. You know, like Mike DiPietro with Dryvr.
Yeah.
He's got that big old that
He's
thing that he
got a
drives.
hot rod, doesn't he?
He does, man. He's got that big old thing he drives, man, and we're pretty good at it now. Me and his drum tech, Doc. We work together real good. I mean, I'm not a drummer, but I'm a drummer at heart. So when the set's over with, I immediately go for the drums. I start pulling mics off the drums, start getting drums off stage, because that's the thing that takes the longest.
Yeah.
We generally stack the amps up, kind of like dominoes, and then accordion them down to where they take up less space on the stage. But as each band gets done, they'll pull their amp off, the guitar amps and the bass amps off, and then the next band stuff is right there.
Yeah.
You know, so we don't have to deal with that. We do that at the beginning before anybody gets there, and then we're just swapping out drums.
Yeah.
So, but time, get on, get off.
Yeah.
You know, if I don't care if you invite your dog, invite everybody. You know, I don't care who it is. Are they in Washington? Invite them. Okay, I don't care, because there's safety in numbers. Okay, if you know, it's just like gazelle. You know, one gazelle is going to get 8. 1,000 of them, most of them are going to get away.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to get as many people in there, asses in the seats. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of venues will ask a band, how many people can you bring? That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I've got 4,000 people on my friends list, but not all of them are going to show up. You know, if I was a band, if somebody asked me that and I was a band, I'd be like, man, I can't. There's no way I can answer that question accurately.
Yeah.
You know, without I could lie to you. I tell you, 500 people will be here. You know, you're gonna have to open up the back patio for more capacity. You know, or something like that. But you can't do that. Just marketing, man, telling people about the show. If it's a ticket sale show, carry them tickets with you everywhere you go. You know, you stand in line at Walmart. There's somebody behind you.
Yeah.
Or there's somebody in front of you. You're standing there for 10 minutes. Okay? That's an opportunity to sell somebody a ticket.
Yeah.
You know, say, I'm in a band. Here's where we're playing. Here's the ticket.
Yeah.
You know, get your salesman hat on.
Yeah.
You know, and bands will try to, I hear this from bands, the argument of, well, we're all selling to the same 100 people. Well, go find 100 different people. You know, go stand out in front of Starship.
Yeah.
And pimp your band.
Yeah.
You know, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, getting your name out there.
Yeah.
You know, and name recognition is everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's everything, dude.
Definitely.
You know, so yeah, those are pet peeves of mine, I guess. Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, you talk about tickets. Mike from Dryvr is real good at that. He's always on Facebook trying. And when we were doing the interview with him, he's like, I got to meet a guy with some tickets in 30 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
I mean that's what he. I thought in his enthusiasm, that's just what you got to do.
Yeah.
That
Mike is a
totally-
machine.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
totally
Mike
what you have to do.
Mike is that guy eats, sleeps, and breathes Driver.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you have to do. You know, that's just fact.
Yeah.
And that's just fact.
Yeah, it is. It is. What are your Like when you get a show going, I mean, how do you pair the bands? Is it just who's available, or who you're digging on, or who would go together in a bill better? Or...
All of the above.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I may get hit up by a band from out of town, and they've got this one day that they can show up, and I'll go listen to whatever it is that they've got. Go to Reverb Nation and things like that, and I'll try to pair them with bands that'll fit. I've seen it before where people put together shows and it'll be just some death metal and then some kumbaya and then and it doesn't make any sense to me at all. I mean, everything's got to have a little continuity to it. You want to have it. You don't want Neil Diamond and Poison on the same show, or Neil Diamond and Napalm Death on the same show. I mean, that's it's ridiculous. It if you do that, at some point, half of your crowd is going to leave. Whether it's with Neil, when Neil's done, they're leaving. If just going with that Neil Diamond Napalm Death analogy. When Neil's done, as soon as Napalm Death starts, Neil's crowd's leaving.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they don't know what they're in for. And vice versa. Napalm's crowd ain't showing up until Neil's done.
Yeah.
Okay?
Exactly.
So you got to balance it. You got to come up with some way of legitimizing it and making it a show that people are going to be there all night long.
Yeah.
Or till midnight, 12:30, when everybody thinks they're going to turn into a pumpkin and they leave.
Nice.
That's a pet peeve of mine with the fans that come out. If you're going to come out, man.
Yeah.
Stay.
Yeah.
Hang out, man. Shoot the breeze. Come find me. I'll shake your hand and I'll talk about all kinds of crazy shit with you. Just hang out, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse for a band than you've got a full house and then it's your turn. And then as soon as you start playing, you can literally see the crowd leave. Whether you're good or whether you're not.
Yeah. I know.
They just didn't come to see you. They came to see the band before you.
Yeah.
Okay? And man, that's rough on a band, dude. That's rough. Especially if a band should give 110%, even if they're playing to a bar stool. Every time.
Yeah.
That's the consistency of it.
Definitely.
I know of national acts, regional acts that they'll show up, and one band in particular, they posted a deal just the other day that he said we played for like a total of 10 people, and half of those were the bar staff. Okay? But I know that particular band, and I know that they played as if they're playing at Carnegie Hall or Madison Square Garden.
Because you never know who's out there.
You never know who's going to be
Even if
there.
there's 5 people, one guy might be somebody that has a hookup.
You never know who's going to be there, and that's the trick. I've gone to shows where the band will be up there and they'll get 3 or 4 songs into it, and there'll be 3 or 4 people there, and they'll just quit. And I'm just like, dude, that is not the way to do it, man. You finish that thing. They'll quit, and then they'll bitch that they don't get paid.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it depends on how you have it structured as to how much you get paid.
Yeah.
Okay. There's many different ways to structure a show.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes they do a percentage of the bar. Sometimes they'll do the bands will get the door. If they do ticket sales. On my ticket sales, they'll get at least $5 off each ticket. Depends on the price point on the ticket. And we'll do a little bit cheaper advanced ticket, charge a little bit more at the door. To give people the incentive to get the tickets from the bands. Because that's how the band is getting paid. Okay. There's other ways of it out there. There's pay to play. Bands hate it. I don't like it either. They'll have a deal where you'll get a stack of tickets. You as a band will the traditional pay to play is you as a band come to me. I hand you, let's just say 100 tickets. And you're going to sell all 100 of those tickets.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't sell all 100 of those tickets, you owe me for those tickets.
Yeah.
Okay. Or they'll make you pay for them up front.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and sell them to recoup your money, and then whatever cut you're getting off of that ticket is how that works.
Yeah.
And that puts so much pressure on the band.
Yeah.
Now sometimes it's easy. Okay. Sometimes like if like let's just pick on Dryvr, because I like Mike. Let's just say Dryvr is opening up for Iron Maiden. Okay. And the promoter comes to DiPetrello and hands him 100 tickets at $20 a piece.
Yeah.
Okay. And tells him you got to pay me for these $20 a piece for these 100 tickets. You got to pay me for that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Shows 3 months from now. Okay. But you're going to pay me for those tickets. Now, Mike in turn takes those tickets and goes and sells them at $20 a piece or however much they are.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's got that selling point of, hey, we're opening for Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Here's a ticket. People will swoop them up quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A pay to play on an all local show ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna work at all. Okay. A pay to play on a regional band, it might work. It might work a little bit. It's not gonna be great. Okay. There's a lot of pressure on the band when it's a pay to play. Okay?
Yeah, I'd imagine. Yeah.
The way I structure a ticket deal is the tickets will be $6 in advance. The band gets $5 off each ticket. Okay, easy, simple math.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, simple math.
Yeah.
The extra dollar that comes off the ticket, that comes back to me, and then everybody gets out, and I hand them a stack of tickets with the potential. Their payday destiny is in their hands at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want the tickets back. You can use them for whatever you want to do. You can use it for wallpaper, for all I care. I don't care. But that's how you're getting paid, and they understand that up front. That's the biggest thing. Everything has to be up on the table. Mm-hmm. Everybody has to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. There can't be a bunch of stupid ass secrets going on. Okay, because at the end of the night, whenever it comes down to are we getting paid or not, well, with the ticket thing, you already know that you've gotten paid. We're done with that. We don't have to deal with that. If it's a percentage off the bar that 4 bands are splitting, here's where the crowd comes in. Okay, if the band is getting 10, 20% of the bar, 10, 15, 20% of the bar, whatever it may be, that's that percentage of the bar sales. Okay, so that gives the bands the incentive to get people in there and get them up to the bar drinking. Yeah, because that's how they're getting paid. Yeah. Okay. Same way with the door. If they're not getting a percentage of the bar, they're getting a percentage of the door. Okay, or they're getting all the door, whatever it may be. But if you've got 5 guys in the bar that are the only ones that show up for the show, and those 5 guys are sucking on 1 pitcher of beer all night long, and you got 4 bands playing, and you're getting a percentage of the bar, you could have literally stayed at home and made more money mowing your neighbor's yard without hauling all your gear up to a venue. Wow. So it's very, I don't want to say, that it's 3-cart money, but it's kind of a, it depends on how you do it kind of thing. You've got different options, and sometimes there's combinations of those options, or it's just that. Yeah. It depends on the bands. Yeah. It depends on who you're bringing in.
Right on.
If I'm bringing in Iron Maiden, woohoo! That'll probably never happen.
Hey, you never know. Never know.
Dude, those guys are high dollar.
Yeah,
high dollar. I would not surprise me if it was $1 million to get Iron Maiden to show up.
I bet. Yeah.
Would not surprise me.
I bet.
You got to pay for all that jet fuel that they're flying around.
For Bruce to fly them around on.
Yeah.
And all the giant Eddie robots and stuff.
Yeah. I'd like to have an acoustic Maiden.
Right.
Yeah, acoustic Maiden. That would be cool. Little one-off show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool.
They've got some stuff that would work acoustic. And they've got a few acoustic songs. So
it'd be awful hard to do Run for the Hills.
Yeah, acoustic, I know. Yeah.
How are you gonna do that big drum roll?
Yeah, and could Bruce stay still for that long?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
He'd have to jump over something.
I doubt it. Yeah, he'd have to do something, man. You know,
Yes.
out there in his little one of the military pants and jumping and bouncing around. Hey guys,
That's awesome.
I'd be jumping and bouncing around if I was making that kind of money
Yeah,
too.
hell yeah, hell yeah.
I'm waiting for the day. One of these days, hopefully, God, I hope Robert Plant's going to call me and tell me, he's going to say, Steve, I got the band back together. We need you to book our shows.
There you go. He's the holdout, I guess.
Yeah.
He's the only one that doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, he's a bastard like that. And, dude, that would be such an easy tour to book.
Yeah.
That'd be like 70 phone calls.
Yeah.
To each of the big venues in each state. A couple states got a couple of big venues. So you call the BOK, you get the booking office on the phone, and you just say, hey, I'm representing Led Zeppelin. We're going to be at your place on this day. Be ready.
Yeah.
All you'd have to do. Okay? It wouldn't be none of this. Hey, can I get an open date?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're going to be there November 5th. Whatever you have that day,
Clear it.
because Zeppelin is going to be at your place. And
Yeah.
if they say no, they're stupid.
it would sell itself.
Oh, dude, that's a $500 ticket, balcony back row.
Oh, man.
Easy.
Good Lord.
Easy. They did that
bet.
one-off. They did that one-off show in 2007.
Yeah, in London.
Yeah, at the O2 Arena.
Yeah.
Minutes that thing sold
Mhm.
out. But did you get the numbers behind that? Dude, they had right at 20 million requests for tickets
Oh my
for that
God.
show. The internet numbers and all.
Yeah.
Nobody has those numbers. Nobody. Dude, and they won't go on tour. Just chaps my ass.
do-
Dude, it just chaps my ass, man.
Do you think it'll happen in our? Do you think it'll happen in their lifetime? I don't know.
Those guys don't have shit to prove.
Yeah.
Nothing. They ain't got nothing to prove. They have got a catalog of music that like somebody told me one time that if you're in a rock and roll band, heavy metal band, heavy rock band, you're following one of two patterns. You're either following the Black Sabbath pattern or you're following the Led Zeppelin pattern.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Sabbath is a little deeper, darker.
Mm-hmm.
Zeppelin pattern is a more bluesy or little pop mixed in there kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so you're following one of those two.
Yeah.
If you take the family tree of rock and roll and metal and you condense it all back down, sure, it goes deep. It goes into the blues and the Delta blues and goes way, way back in the 20s and 30s.
Oh yeah.
Right? But the catalyst, the defining moment, I think the defining moment in rock and roll was when Black Sabbath started and when Led Zeppelin started.
Yeah.
Those are the two defining moments because that's a serious branch in the tree.
Yeah.
In the tree of rock.
Yeah.
You had the Beatles before, and the Beatles are great, but it's not. If I have my choice between listening to, Slipknot or the Beatles, I'm going with Slipknot.
Yeah.
Just because.
Thank you.
But I like the Beatles.
Yeah.
But if I had to make that choice,
No, I'm the same way, man. I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, you got to think like you're right. If we didn't have Sabbath or Zeppelin, like it just would have been shaped so differently. Who knows what it would have?
All right, wrap your head around this. I'm watching that metal show.
Yeah.
Okay. And Eddie Trunk, I can't remember who they were interviewing that day, but Eddie Trunk posed the question that, and this is totally a Cliff Notes version of the question, but if you had to make a choice between British metal or American metal, and not ever whatever choice you make, you will have never heard the other. Yeah. Roll that around in your brain for a little while, dude.
No
Because you got Sabbath, you got Priest, you got Zeppelin, you got all these
Maiden.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, if you go with the American, this is what I want.
Later, right?
And you will have never heard, as if Black Sabbath and Zeppelin and all that never existed.
Yeah.
Which would you choose? Knowing what you know now, which would you choose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't choose.
Yeah.
I can't.
There's no way.
That's like trying to pick which kid. You got two kids. One's going to drown. Which one do you pick?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I don't know.
I know.
I don't think I could pick, but I'm sure he would pick American just based off of Metallica and Megadeth and Anthrax.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a total Big Four guy. I mean, that's where I start. But I mean, but at the same time, I mean, it's like you don't have that if you don't have Priest and Maiden and Sabbath and Motorhead. Right. So, man, I don't know.
It's you can't. I left the question alone.
Yeah,
I rolled it around in my brain for about 30 minutes, and I was like, this is giving me a headache. I gotta quit. I can't think about it no more, man.
Well, like talking about that, like Maiden and Zeppelin and all that kind of stuff. Is that like what are your bands that got you started and really grabbed you?
The first it goes way back. I got to take it back to my mom. Mm-hmm. Okay. I know that my mom, when I was little, when I was still in a crib, I know my mom was playing Zeppelin in the house. Yeah. Okay. So I grew up around that. I can remember going through albums, the Tubular Bells. That's there was Styx, there was Zeppelin, there was all these great bands. Of course, my stepdad would never let me play with his turntable. So I didn't get to mess with his stereo, unfortunately. But I see why, this little punk ass little kid, But he had the big home stereo speakers and everything was silver. Yeah. Still at that time, and he had the reel to reel player. He had nice. all that 70s stuff. The first album that I bought with my own money, that I went out and earned with the intent of buying that album, was Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. Right. Okay? And I think that because of that, I learned all the words to all the songs. Mm-hmm. Okay? I could sing along with it. Maybe not note for note, but I knew all the words to all the songs on that. And those are epic songs, dude. I mean, Paradise by the Dashboard Light is like 12 minutes long. Yeah, I know, yeah. Okay? So, I think that that's why I lean more towards bands now that I can understand what they're saying. Mm-hmm. Now, there's a lot of growlers out there. There's a lot of screamos out there. That death metal stuff. I got respect for it. They're doing their thing, and that's what they want to do. Fine. Mm-hmm. You go out there. It's your band. You can go play out in a pumpkin patch if that's what you want to do. Yeah. Okay. It's just not for me. Yeah. I'm not so much into that. Some of it I like, some of it not. Okay. But I like to be able to understand what the person is saying. And if you go listen to that Bat Out of Hell album, you can understand every word that's coming across there. Yeah. Okay. The first metal album that I bought was Quiet Riot, Mental Health. Right on. Okay. I heard it at school. There was a kid at school, and I was in, it's like 7th or 8th grade, something like that. And this kid at school had a cassette with this on there, and he had brought to school his little cassette player. Yeah. You had to push the 2 buttons to record and all that stuff. But he brought that, and so we're listening to Quiet Riot on this little mono speaker. Yeah. And I was just blown away. I was like, what the fuck is that? What is that? And I went out and mowed a couple more yards, and had them take me down to Starship, and I bought that album. Hell yeah! And I just fell in love with metal. Yeah. Then, Yeah. And even then, you can understand every word that Kevin DuBro's saying. Yeah. Okay. And that's what I like, because a song is a short story. Yeah. Okay. It's telling you something. It's describing something, whether it be good or whether it be bad. It's a description of something. Yeah. Well, I want to know what the hell they're talking about. Yeah. I go see some of these bands, man, and they're just, it's like they took one breath and burped for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I can't understand a word they're saying.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it's about.
Yeah, well, and we've talked about this before. There's a lot of that stuff I like. I think, and then there's, I've said before, Lamb of God and like Hatebreed. Yeah. They're growly, they're screaming, but you can still understand them.
Understand it.
But like I guess it's just, I don't know. But when you get into like the real deathy stuff and you can't understand anything, I just,
right.
There's
a band out of
oh man.
There's a band out of Michigan. I've worked with them a few times. It's called Mine Enemies Fall, and dude, they are badass. Mm-hmm. They are very unassuming. If they just walk in the door right now, they're real quiet. They're real, please, thank you, yes sir, no sir, can I sit here? Yeah. What do you need me to do? That kind of stuff, man. But when they get on the stage,
watch out.
Your ears are fixing to get raped. You're gonna walk out of there like, what the hell just happened to me, dude? They are heavy,
yeah,
dude. But the way the songs are structured, I can understand most of what they're saying. But dude, when I get done listening to them guys, I feel like I go grudge fuck a rhinoceros. It's just fucking, it is just intense, man.
Yes.
It's good stuff, man. I mean, I've been to a bunch of different shows. Like the best show, as far as just intensity level, that I've ever been to was at the Canes, and it was White Zombie and Pantera. On the Cowboys from Hell tour.
Yeah.
And they about peeled the paint off the walls that night. Dude, the whole place was a pit.
Did you go to that?
I went to White Zombie and Pantera, but it was at the fairgrounds.
I went to that one too.
Yeah, like the Cabaret Theater.
Cabaret Theater. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like right 6 months or a year later.
Yeah.
Right after the Canes show, and they figured out that we got to get a bigger place. And I think there may have been some stuff going on too that the Canes was like,
scared of
you guys. We're not. You guys aren't coming back here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know that for sure. But yeah, I was at both of those shows, dude, and it was just
wow.
Yeah, because that one at the Cabaret Theater, that's the first like really metal show I went to as a kid.
Right.
And before that, it was just like glam stuff. And
right.
There was like, I don't even remember, but I remember seeing like 8 or 10 people taken out.
Oh, yeah.
To the ambulance.
Oh, yeah.
Several of them on stretchers. I guess I don't know if they just weren't prepared.
Well,
plus they had all those chairs everywhere. Those folding chairs.
Dude, the chairs was stupid. The chair thing was stupid. Those just went right
flying
to the back.
in the air, hitting people in the head.
Yeah. I bet they don't do that ever again.
No.
They had the as intense as that show was at the Cabaret, all those pits that were going on, there's 3 or 4 different pits going on. Now take that and just condense that down into the Canes. Okay?
Yeah.
The Canes, if you didn't want to be in the pit at the Canes, you better get your ass up against the wall.
Yeah.
Because, dude, that whole room was just churning. Wow. Dude, it was, amazing. Wow. I loved it. Loved it. The cleanest show, the one that was most perfect, that all the planets got in line and there was peace in the Middle East, the sound, the look, everything. Yeah. It was Quiet Riot at the Canes.
Really?
It was Rudy Sarzo, Frankie Banali, Carlos Cavazo, and Kevin DeBro.
Wow.
And it was just like they just plucked them out of 1985 and put them on stage.
Really? And that's awesome.
They had the clothes, they had the look. For a minute, I thought they were lip syncing.
Really?
Dude, it was just perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, and every now and then you'd catch a little hiccup in the vocals or a little hiccup in the guitars or whatever. So I knew it was live, but it was just. I mean, that was the first metal album I bought.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, then like 20 years later, however long later it was, I got the single, and I was like, I am going, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Couldn't miss it, man. Could not miss that show. I mean, it was great. Loved it.
That's awesome. Getting back to, or go ahead, Trent. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, going back. I don't know if that's what you're gonna say to the promotion end of it.
Yeah,
what made you decide to get into it? Because to me, that seems really like something too stressful to want to do. Yeah.
Divorce caused it, dude. I was with this what's her name, and if it wasn't George Strait, it wasn't shit.
Oh man.
And that drives me up the wall.
Yeah.
Okay? So going to a show, there was a long period there that I didn't go to any shows.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I'm doing the dad thing, and I'm doing we're buying houses and buying cars, and this, that, and the other, and I'd hear on the radio, so and so's coming to town, and I'd go hit her up. I'm like, man, I don't want to go. I don't. All right, fine. I'll be the good guy, and I'll stay at home, and I'm not going to go to the show and that kind of thing. Well, what's her name left? Okay. We got a divorce, and I got tired of sitting around the house watching the paint fade. Okay, so there was still some people in town that I knew, and I met up with a couple of them, and I started going to shows. I started listening to the bands whenever they come off stage. They didn't know me. They didn't know who I was. There was a few who knew me from back in the day at Windjammer, but I would just sit and listen. And I'd hear their complaints. We're not getting paid. We're getting screwed around here. We get, our set got cut short. And you just take all that and you just store it back here in the back. And then I started, I thought I was going to be a photographer. I thought I was going to start taking my camera out to shows and all that. And that didn't last very long because I met Richard Gorman and Jimmy Fusion.
Yeah.
And I am not at that level of what those guys do. Those guys are great. And my camera's in my closet collecting dust now.
Yeah.
So I noticed that there was a kind of a void there, because you can talk to 15 different people, and the 15 different people will tell you, oh yeah, we book shows. Well, I do this and I do that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, it looks good on paper.
Yeah, show me.
So I put together a few shows and started structuring them a little differently, to where the bands were in a better position to get paid at the end of the night. Okay, some places will have shows and they'll have to hire a sound guy to come in and provide the PA that night. Okay, and the sound guy was traditionally making more money than the bands.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I understand those guys need to get paid, and I respect that, and that's great. I mean, there's some great sound guys in town, and I've worked with most of them on different projects in different places. But at the end of the day, I got to thinking about it, and I was like, man, there's a few venues in town. There's a difference between a venue and a bar. Okay, the venue is all inclusive. Everything is there. The stage is there. The PA is there. The lights are there. They're set up for it. They've got an in-house sound guy, and the the venue takes care of him. Yeah. Okay. Whereas if you just go to a bar that just happens to have a little 110 outlet in the corner over there, then you're paying a sound guy. Yeah. I don't think the bands should have to pay the sound guy, because the way it was then, that's what they were having to do. Yeah. Whatever money they were supposedly going to make, they would turn around and hand it to the sound guy. Okay. Again, that's the sound guy's business, and that's what they do, and I'm all for it. This country is built on entrepreneur, and if that's what you're doing as your entrepreneur, go for it. Yeah. I'm a contractor myself. Yeah. So I completely understand it. So I started going to the Vanguard. I did a bunch of shows at the Vanguard, but it's all inclusive. Okay, they got the sound, everything is there. Started doing shows at the Shrine, same way there. Yeah. I was doing all the booking over at Rum Runners whenever they were open up there for a little while before they lost their mind and closed down again. And, I've done a bunch of them at all those places, but to me, that's the best bet for the band. Okay, 90% of the time when I do these shows, I don't make a dime. Okay, but I structure it to where the bands can get paid if they hustle. If they get out and they do the work, the bands will get paid. Yeah. Okay, there's times when I get paid. Yeah. Okay, doesn't happen all the time. Okay. And you ain't getting rich in this business. I don't care what anybody thinks. You ain't getting rich in this business. No.
It's hard truth.
It's hard, man. It's
Yeah.
hard, man. It's not the 80s anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, in the 80s, dude, they were throwing money
Yeah.
at bands.
Oh yeah.
But it's not like that no more.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's great that you wanted to take on that role and that you're putting bands first. Because a lot of guys are just like me. Let's see how much I can make
Right.
and whatnot.
Right.
That's a awesome thing.
Well, perception is reality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's a big thing that we say over at Axis, is that perception is reality. If you come across as you're just a douche,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you're going to draw.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to get. That's the reality that people are going to see. Okay, yeah, everybody's got haters. I got haters. I've got people that don't hate. Okay, there's a few of them out there that I'm the worst thing that ever come down the pipe.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, but you had the same opportunity to go out and do a show the same way. You chose not to.
Yeah.
Okay, now whether the bands dig how I'm doing it, great. If they don't, great.
Yeah.
That's their choice.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want, because it's not my band.
Yeah.
I can't play an instrument if you put a gun to my head, and I can't carry a tune in a bucket. So it's not my thing.
Yeah.
My thing is logistics.
Yeah.
Is making it happen, making phone calls, getting stuff, getting donations for raffles at shows and things like that. Stuff that the bands don't. They shouldn't have to mess with all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Show up, play, have a good time, go home safe.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah.
And if we can get 80,000 people to show up at a show,
Why not?
that's even better.
Yeah.
It's even better. So,
But, you're taking what you're good at and putting it to something that you love.
right.
That's
Right.
awesome. That's
Right.
a good way to marry the two.
Like like when you were talking to you earlier, and you were all, I get shy when I talk to people around it.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm that's not me.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
dude, I will carry on a conversation with a coffee table if it'll talk back to me.
Well, and see, and that's like kind of one of the questions I had is, back when I was playing out, we had a guy, Josh, who he would talk to anybody, and he handled all that stuff.
Right.
And I couldn't imagine going into a club and going up to a promoter. I just couldn't. I couldn't physically do it.
Right.
And what's a good way for young bands that are just starting, to approach you or approach a promoter or something.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. You put your music in front of people. Have fun, don't suck. That's the motto.
Yeah.
Have fun, don't suck.
Right on.
Ask Dee Petrello. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
If bands are out there and they want to play and they've got something to listen to, okay, just look me up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody is going to get to play on every show.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some bands out there that I've never heard of that I can tell you right now they need to stay in their mom's laundry room. Practice. Practice.
Yeah.
I know of a band in town. Well, they're not in Tulsa. They're from down around Muskogee, King High.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, they practiced for almost 2 years before their first show.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and it was at Vanguard.
That's the way. I highly believe that's the way to do it.
Dude.
That's the way I did it. I remember seeing a lot of bands that were just like, "What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Get out of here!
Yeah.
Go back and practice."
I've had band members hit me up at shows, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk to me, dude? I'm wide open all the time, man. It's an open door policy. But but I've had band members come up to me before, and they we've never done a show. We want to do a show. We'd like to do a show with you. And do we need to bring our amps?
Oh man.
And right there, that kind of tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
You need to bring your amp. That's part of it.
Might help.
Now, the other side of that argument is sometimes guys can just plug straight into a DI box, go right into the board. Okay. Now you're leaving your tone in the hands of a sound guy who's never heard you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a roll of the dice that the band has to take on their own. Is what they're. But yeah, you should bring your amp.
Yeah.
Bring your amp. Bring your guitars. Bring your drumsticks. Things like that. There's just stuff that has to be there, and that was kind of the end of it with that conversation with those guys, because now they've since started doing their own shows and have done some shows. I watch them. I kind of from afar.
Yeah.
When people don't even think I'm looking, I'm looking.
Yeah.
You got to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, that's yeah, that covers that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, you mentioned. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Let's say you mentioned.
We always run over each other.
Dryvr and Grind and. Trying to think. Mind Enemies Fall. Well, they're not local, but who's some other bands around here that you think are doing everything right, that sound great, that kind of thing?
There is so much. Dude, the talent in this town is deep. Any given weekend, you can go out there and catch anything. Whether it's a great blues band, whether it's a great metal band, whichever. There's man, as far as who's doing it right, God, there's so many of them. Of course, Dryvr's doing it right, Grind's doing it right. I'm gonna get myself into a corner right here because I'm gonna forget to mention somebody or something. We'll do it this way. They're the bands that I enjoy. I enjoy the Joint Effect.
Yeah.
Okay? I got a lot of love for John Halata.
Yeah.
Okay? That guy, man, he plays that panty dropping bluesy metal thing, dude, and it's just I've not seen them live yet. I've heard their stuff, and coming up on the 12th.
Nuts.
Coming up on the 12th. There's some bands out there that are more underground and really don't care. I say they don't care. That may be kind of harsh. They don't put as much emphasis on getting their name out there. Yeah. And it's their choice. Yeah. But they're really good. Yeah. Severmind. I like those guys. Derek. He's the guy that does all my flyers. And he's their drummer. There's just so many. I can't even. Yeah. There's Blackwater Rebellion. Those guys are good. There's just, the list goes on. I'd have to turn my phone back on and go through my list. Yeah. But there's not a formula anymore. Used to, if you did A, B, C, D, you got a record contract. Mm-hmm. That was in the 80s. Yeah. Okay. Part of the 90s. Nowadays, it's A, L, B, S. It's just all over the map. Yeah. Because the record labels aren't there like they used to be. There's all this online crap and all that. Where again, the band's getting screwed by iTunes or whoever. Yeah. Who was it? Spotify and what was it? Taylor Swift pulled all her music off of one of those because
Spotify thing. An Apple thing too.
Yeah. I mean, she. You get a million downloads and the artist just made $20. Yeah. That's not right, man. That's not right.
Yeah. My wife, she saw an interview with somebody. Can't remember. She was telling me, and it was like pop music, but some song, one of the biggest songs last year. I can't remember. Pop. That all the kids liked. It had like some insane number, like 20 million downloads or some crazy, but the guy only made $12,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that just blew. I mean, I knew that was going on.
Yeah.
But when the numbers are put in front of you like that, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's just nuts, you know?
Dude. I don't think it was either last year or the year before. There was no. I believe, if I heard this right, there was no platinum selling artist.
Yeah,
That's insane.
I remember reading that.
Yeah. But they'll have 1 million and something downloads of that one song.
Totally.
You know, back when I was growing up, you had to buy the whole album.
The whole album.
To get that one song. You know.
Yep.
And that one album sale went towards the end game of platinum artists now.
And you hated the kid that just kept playing Enter Sandman over and over.
Oh,
you know,
that was the beginning,
or whatever song. You know,
that was the beginning of mainstream Alaka.
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, dude, it was you know, I may be old. I'm 46 this year, but I got to see all the cool bands before everything went to what it is now.
Yeah,
you know, the festivals.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about festivals now. And that's fine. I like festivals. I like going to them. You know, I completely enjoy them, man. I mean, it's just, you know, 3 or 4 or 5, 10 days of just chaos and mayhem in a controlled environment, kind of. You know, but it's cool. You know, this year at Rocklahoma was in a 20-year end game for me because I was finally able to catch Slayer.
Yeah.
Okay? Dude, I've been trying, whether it be, you know, live or they're playing 300 miles away or it's, you know, damn, I can't afford that ticket or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know, but I got to see them this year, them and Anthrax.
Yep.
So my big four is complete now.
Yeah.
But I got to see them from backstage.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
So that worked out really good.
Yeah.
You know, that worked out really good.
Dude, Anthrax killed.
Oh, yeah, they did.
They were amazing.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Slayer was great, too. Anthrax was just insane.
I was right above Carrie's guitar tech up in the balcony. It would be stage left. If you're looking at stage, it's on the right-hand side. But if you're at the stage, it's on the left. But I was up in the balcony up there looking straight down on his guitars and his tech and all that. And I got some really cool pictures of it.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's fun, dude. I thoroughly enjoy it. I enjoy getting out and meeting the people that come to the shows.
Yeah.
The bands, all of it, dude. And, you know, but you know, like with everything else, there's an asshole every now and then. But that's few and far between, man.
Well, that could be where your bouncing experience comes in.
Dude, my bouncing days are done. dude, I don't heal as fast as I used to. I ain't near as strong as I used to be. I got this thing going on in my back.
Yeah.
I'm
okay.
done.
Well,
I'm done.
I'll
go tap the bouncer on the arm and say, "Hey, point at that dude over there."
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
There's always that one guy.
Yeah.
You know, there's always that one.
Right.
You know, and you can usually spot them coming a mile away. You know, they're drunk when they get there or whatever they are. You know, and then then they want to run around and start taking their clothes off or whatever the hell they're doing.
Yeah.
You know. And, you're the idiot in the room today.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind
of I got a buddy at work who went to that Aristocrats thing at the Vanguard the other day.
Yeah.
And he said some guy out of the audience at the very last song literally walked up on stage and unplugged Guthrie Govan's rig. What? And like when he did that, everyone just tackled him and then the band got on the mic, Brian Beller, the bass player, and he said, "Don't kick that guy out. Keep him in the corner. We want him." You know?
Yeah.
And you know, and they said, you know, if you're going to come to our show and do this, you know, you're going to pay for it afterwards.
Sure.
And, you know, I just thought that was a great story.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they did that.
Yeah. The stage is theirs.
Yeah.
When they're on there playing, that's their domain.
Yeah.
Okay. And doing it when a band gets up on there, it's what. Okay, here's an example. John Halata, Joint Effect. Okay. When John's up there playing, you can't say a damn word to him because he is 500 miles away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's up there with his eyes closed, and he's playing, and nothing else is going on in his world at that moment other than playing this guitar to this song.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, I have stood on side stage over there and have intentionally tried to get John's attention. Like, hi, you know what? And dude,
wow,
he is not even he's not even in this area code whenever he's up there playing. And when that's happening, that is a fucking beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Whether it's John, whether it's whoever, it's a beautiful thing, man. Because at that moment, that artist is completely zen with himself and with everything that's going on around him.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, if you could venture into their head while they're doing that, you'd probably be just cruising through space. You know, just to me, that's cool. Yeah. That's those moments that you know everything in the world is where it should be.
Yeah.
You know, whenever they're doing that, and I see a lot of players do that. You know, I you know, whether it be John, whether it be Slash, whether it be whoever. You know, it's to me that's a cool thing. And to those musicians, when they're on there, that moment is like their heroin.
Yeah.
They gotta have it.
Yeah.
They gotta have it, dude. Yeah. And you'll see guys bands that they just want to play all the time. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's great. Okay. But you're oversaturating yourself now.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're playing every weekend, you know, why am I going to go see you this week when I can go see you next week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's the fan side of it.
Yeah.
Okay. The fan in me side of it.
Yeah.
I try to look at everything at 6 different angles.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has 6 sides: top, bottom, right, left, front, back. Okay, you have to look at everything from all these different angles and pick up on everything.
Yeah,
and take the good and throw out the bad and try to make a cohesive thing.
Yeah,
and that's what works, man. Dude, whenever they're up there doing that thing, though. No shit, man. That is it's like they're fucking heroin, and they gotta have it, dude. And
that's awesome.
I get to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, all right, yeah. You know, you know, get to put together shows that I want to see.
Yeah.
You know, there's several shows that I put together in the past that this is kind of like this is a guilty pleasure show because I want to see these 4 bands play together.
Yeah.
You know, and it works.
Yeah,
it works.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what shows do you have coming up? You know that you can talk about
on September 12th. We've got the return of the Joint Effect.
Okay.
They kind of went off the map there for a little while, changed drummers. They had Royce Buckmaster was their drummer for a long time, and they went a different route. They went over, and Anthony Hinton, who is the drummer for Even the Dogs, he's now the drummer for Joint Effect.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to be September 12th.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that at the Shrine?
It's at the Shrine. It's a $3 cover to get in that night. It'll be Ice Cold Glory, Octave Jaw, Severmind, and the Joint Effect. Those 4 bands.
Cool.
And then I'm not going to tell you what order they're in, and I'm not telling you what time they're coming on to play. Show up early, stay late, support everybody.
There you go.
That's the trick.
And $3 is a steal.
$3 is a steal for 4 bands,
yes.
dude. I don't know if you ever heard Octave Jaw play, man, but those guys are really good, man.
Cool.
Really good. They're from Ardmore.
Really?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Ice Cold Glory is from Tulsa. Of course, Severmind and Joint Effect are both from Tulsa.
Yeah.
I've got on September 11th at the Vanguard, Enslaved by Fear and Threat Point, Derailed, Abstract Entity, and Even the Dogs.
Wow.
Threat Point and Derailed and Enslaved are all going on tour together, and that's their first show of the tour.
Oh, that's cool. You'll be busy that weekend.
Oh yeah. Then that's September 11th, and then September 12th. On the 4th of September, if that's a Friday, if the 4th is on a Friday, I'm doing an open jam.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that flyer.
Little different pretense on it though. Not your dad's jam session. There'll be 5 jugs, and as musicians show up, they'll write their name on a piece of paper and put their name in the corresponding jug. As to, there'll be a drummer jug and a guitar jug and a vocal jug and a rhythm guitar jug. You put your name in the jug. We'll draw out 5 names, and that's the band for the next 30, 45 minutes. Okay, all covers, all hard rock metal. Okay.
So they just have to happen to know some stuff, the same stuff.
It's a roll of the dice, man.
Oh my
it's a
God.
roll of the dice. Now I'm putting together. It hasn't all came together yet, but me and a couple of guys we're going to put together a kind of a hand-picked nothing but Pantera.
Really?
For however long they can go.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna make the band, you mean? Like pick the guys for the band?
Yeah. There's a few there's a few guys in town, probably more than I know about, but there's a few guys that I know about in town that I've got a vocal guy already.
We know Deep Petrillo loves Pantera.
Yeah, he's not gonna play though. I've got a guy for vocals. I've got a guy for drums. Probably got a guy for lead guitar, Dime's spot. I know this guy. I've known this guy for years and years and years. I know that he can play those tunes.
Yeah.
I've just got to make sure he's got his shit together before he gets on stage.
Yeah.
Okay. That's not a big deal. I can handle that. And then I got to come up with a bass player.
Yeah.
But that's not a problem either.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of time between now and then. And,
Yeah.
And the guys that I'll put together, like the drummer that I've got, he knows every Vinnie Paul lick.
That's awesome.
The singer knows all the words to every Pantera song.
Yeah.
And the guy coming in to play, I don't know if he knows all the way up to Southern Tranquil and all that. I don't know if he knows all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that he knows everything on Cowboys from Hell and pretty much everything on Vulgar Display of Power.
Really?
Okay.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
There's that, and then the bass player. If I get the bass player that I want, I'm not even worried about him. He'll come in and he'll just play, and it'll be beautiful.
Wow.
But you got to handpick that kind of thing, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know this guy can. It's all ingredients in the soup, man. It's all ingredients in the soup.
Oh, yeah.
Got to keep tasting it. Might need a little more salt.
Nice.
No.
Now that sounds like it'll be pretty fun, pretty interesting to see.
I think it will be. It'll either be really cool or it'll fail miserably. But it's a free show.
Yeah.
The jam that night is a free show.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. That's as far as shows go. Those are the 3 that I've got on my plate right now. The grind show is already done. Yeah, that's as far as shows go. That's it right now.
Right on.
I'm probably forgetting something, but
that's all good.
I'm 46, man. Cut me some slack, man. Cut me some slack.
Oh yeah.
So,
Got anything else?
I think we covered it all. I think we got it all.
Y'all just kind of let me babble for however long.
Yeah, that's what it's.
the point,
That's
right?
the point.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, man, guys, I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
Come out to shows, dude.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, man, is getting people out to the shows.
Yeah.
Just come out, man. Just come out and
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Definitely.
That's the best part about it.
Yeah.
Is just getting out and enjoying it, man. I don't know if there wasn't no such thing as music,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, I know.
with life in general.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if all we had to choose from was Neil Diamond, I'd probably kill somebody.
Yeah.
It's probably what I'd end up doing. You know,
Yeah,
but if we didn't know any better, we'd all be happy
Yeah.
with it, though. You
Right.
know, it kind of goes back to that question that Eddie Trunk did. You know, if you didn't know British bands or American metal, you had to choose one without ever hearing the other.
No kidding.
Which would you go with? You know,
Yeah.
That's the question of the decade.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure is.
Um,
Sure is. Well, thanks, man. This is I enjoyed the insight, enjoyed the convo.
no
Appreciate
problem,
it.
man. No problem.
Right on.